Hi, I'm AJ, welcome to Yorkshire. I've not done a section of this route at all, and if you're watching this video like me, you don't know a lot about it, other than what you've done a bit of online research, then we're going to both learn something special about this amazing place. There we go. So, the Pennine Way, my first steps. The sun cream's on, the route's been plotted, I've got my map, and I don't think I can do any better with the weather for setting off. Now it's going to be a hot day. Besides the sun cream, I've got plenty of water and a water filter because I think I'm going to be drinking an awful lot. Now the surrounding hills are mostly limestone, so as you can imagine, any water that falls during rain just is absorbed straight through the fells, the hills, into the rivers below. So other than Malham Tarn, where there's a body of water, there's probably not going to be a lot about, but as the start of this route, the first day, the first steps, this looks absolutely amazing. A limestone cliff, 80-metre drop. That is Malham Cove, and as you can see here, my way will zigzag up the side of the cliff and onto the limestone pavement at the top. Awesome. So still in shadow this side of Malham Cove, just to the side of the cliff. Don't think it's too safe to go any closer. Just see the winding path going back into the village. So that's an awesome start to the day. Let's rejoin the main path and keep going towards Horton. Well, after that fantastic little section, we're just about to alter course slightly and skirt Malham Tarn. And I think if you just look amongst the trees, the base of the limestone cliff there, I think you can just make out the hall on the edge of Malham Tarn. Well, I have to admit that so far, Wainwright, when he wrote about this place, particularly this day, was spot on. It really is made for walkers. Yes, I'm sure there'll be days later on in the wind and the rain, but today there's been forests, there's been a tarn, there's been limestone cliffs, Malham Cove. The sky is open, there's more forests and limestone cliffs to see, and the route just winds up and up. If anything, it's like a book by an author you've never read before. You're gripped by the genre. Why haven't I read this author before? And I have to ask myself, why have I never come here before? I think it's because hardcore, when you look online, oh no, it's a long trudge, it's 260 miles. But this is what I've set out to find. What if you just have it in bite-sized chunks? What if you just pick out the section I've done from Malham to Greenhead? Is that enough? Will it sate the appetite of getting over the horizon? I want to see more, I want to go further. Well, I have to say, I wandered just through these woods at the edge of Tarn House above Malham Tarn. It's run by the National Trust, absolutely magical. There's rabbits, so many songbirds, just beautiful, the wind in the leaves, and then ancient little roadway like this that obviously used to lead to Tarn House. So it's not all charging up mountains and sweating all the time. That's for later. That's Pen-y-ghent at the end of the day, but this has been absolutely magical so far, and it just continues. It's a glimpse of the Tarn and this wonderful carving of a hare. Isn't that amazing? And all the while just the backdrop of the Tarn. Well, I have to say, after getting off the bit of an easygoing tarmac track around Malham Tarn there, all we've had since is these beautiful open wildflower meadows that just stretch just up to the edge of the dry stone walls here, where the farmers obviously got livestock and so forth, but the dry stone walls, much like Cumbria, stretching away into the distance. It's just been absolutely magical. Occasional bit of shade under the mature tree here, and everywhere you look, little limestone outcroppings just dotting the fells. So after climbing up a bit from that farm, getting a bit of gradient onto what is essentially rolling moorland, you'll find these little sort of limestone sinkholes where, because of the erosion of the water under the ground, the whole of the surface is sort of obviously slumped down in the space caused by the water washing all the sort of rock and sediment away. So not a place I'd like to have a go at crossing at night or in driving rain. And you can see another one here, and obviously it's filled up with obviously plants and grass and stuff over the years. It's been collapsed, so not a lot of water to be had, and essentially just a plod over open moorland. The wildflower meadows have given way to essentially scrubby grass and the occasional sinkhole, but it's good. We're gaining a little bit of height bit by bit to the two sort of summits that we're going to experience today: Fountains Hill and then on to Pen-y-ghent. Oh. Awesome. Summit of Fountain Hill, as mentioned in the guidebook. There'll be a caption here saying exactly how high it is. I'm not too sure. I can see the route going on over my shoulder. It's just a bit of winding moorland now. I can just take a moment. Don't know if you can see into the sun. Now it's a bit higher, but just a hazy horizon, rolling and little plateaus and valleys and little hamlet down there, and just right on the edge of my vision, more rolling, windswept, eroded plateaus, and I can just see the next valley over. You can just see here, I'll indicate on the video, you can just see the first of more limestone cliffs. And is that Pen-y-ghent in the distance? Gonna find out. But for now, some shade on the other side of the wall, staying away from the mine shafts. And it's going to be a cup of tea and a biscuit. So after Fountains Fell, the way meanders on, just gradually losing height, and we can sort of glimpse little blobs of civilization here and there, occasional farmstead, the quarry workings over there, and just over it all, I believe that's Pen-y-ghent. I'm usually travelling quite self-sufficient, getting water from rivers, carrying what I need for the day, but this trip with the weather, the amount I have to carry to bounce from place to place, has made certainly even the latter part of this first day very, very challenging. So I'm going to have to do what I don't really like doing, is ask these lovely folks can I have some water. Whew. So there we go. Generous chap. So I've drunk a litre in his farmhouse kitchen, and filled myself up another litre. You can just see, just at the end of the lane there, just over my shoulder. I need every bit I can get before this final assault on the summit. So let's not go mad. Bit of shade, bit of a breeze. I might take 5. And just reflect on what a fantastic adventure it's been. What a journey. So while having 5 minutes, I was able to reflect on the awesome things I'd seen today. Malham Cove, the limestone karsts, a tarn, a forest, rolling alpine meadow, wildflower meadows, and then the rolling moorland of Fountains Fell. And all that remained ahead of me was Pen-y-ghent. Yep, this is definitely on the Pennine Way, and this is what I'll have to conquer the last hurdle of this amazing day. Hazy horizon of hills everywhere. Amazing. So there we go, a short but steep cliff face tackled, and now all that remains is a slow, gradually rising gradient to the summit. What a fantastic adventure. There we go, final hurdle of the day, Pen-y-ghent. There'll be a little caption down here saying how high it is. So all that remains after that awesome adventure is just to twiddle down into Horton and have a cold one. Lovely. Thanks for joining me. So there we go, Pen-y-ghent. And like I remember from when the captain and I did the Yorkshire Three Peaks, long winding gradual descent back into Horton, where I'll have a cold one and put my feet up. What a fantastic adventure. So just see on the summit there, people arriving. They've done the 3 peaks today. I said I'd never do it again, and I'm just man of my word, I will not be doing it again. So there we are, that's the descent from Pen-y-ghent over, and just looking at the wayside, Horton and Ribblesdale, 1.5 miles. Looking at my Garmin, it seems I've done further than the guidebook said it was going to be. I don't particularly think I've been off route. A gradual descent now into Horton. It's really starting to feel it now. So as you can see, it's between those 2 dry stone walls. There's an old track, and that's going to bring me down into Horton. So as the houses of Horton hove into view, it's time to take stock just before I cross the finishing line in about a couple of 100 metres. It's been an amazing day, great variety of things to see. The terrain, cliffs, rolling hills, the odd blob of forest, and the endless horizon stretching in every direction. That was just jaw-dropping. Not a lot in the way of shade, and I think, according to my Garmin, I seem to have done more miles than the guidebook said. But that being said, it's just more to enjoy. I know my feet hurt now, and it's time to put them up, take my boots off and relax. But yeah, a thoroughly enjoyable day. Plopping a mountain in probably in the last couple of hours, Pen-y-ghent, that was a bit of a challenge, which I relish. But I think it's time to wrap up as I just saunter into town. Gonna get a cold one and say yeah, we'll see how I feel in 2 or 3 days time when I've had the wind in my face and the rain down the back of my neck. But so far so good. Thanks for joining me.